We are about to reveal something that has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years, something so powerful that ancient civilizations protected it with their lives, something so transformative that if you truly apply it, you will never see reality the same way again. 3 ancient techniques that hold the key to activating 100% of your vibrational power instantly. But before we begin, I need to warn you. This is not just information. This is energy. When you hear these words, your frequency will start shifting. You may feel tingles in your body. You may notice reality bending in strange ways. Synchronicities will increase. You may even feel like time itself is moving differently.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
This is proof that your vibration is activating. If you're ready for this, keep watching. Because once you know these techniques, there is no going back. The first technique is something only the highest spiritual masters fully understood. It is called the sound of pure resonance. Every single thing in existence vibrates at a specific frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, even the space around you, all of it is energy in motion. But there is one frequency that overrides them all. One sound so powerful that when it is produced correctly, it aligns every cell in your body, every neuron in your brain, every fragment of your being into its highest state. The ancients knew this. They used sound to heal, to awaken, to transcend. They understood that certain vibrations could instantly shift consciousness, open energy centers, and dissolve the barriers between the physical and the unseen. This is why ancient temples and sacred sites were built with perfect acoustics, designed not just for sound but for resonance. When the right frequencies are generated, they don't just create noise, they create transformation. And here's where it gets wild. Your voice, right now, has the power to do this. You don't need external instruments. You don't need technology. You don't need anything outside yourself. The sound already exists within you. But most people never activate it because they are too trapped in the lower frequencies of stress, fear, and distraction. The vibration of your own voice, when tuned correctly, can shift your reality instantly. This is why chanting and humming feel so powerful. It's why monks chant mantras for hours. It's why certain words and sounds create chills up your spine. Because when you hit the right frequency, your entire energy field realigns. And now, here's where we take it further. The second technique is what the ancients called the breath of infinite expansion. Most people think breathing is just a biological function, but that's because they have no idea what breath actually is. It is the bridge between the physical and the unseen. It is the activator of life force. It is the one thing that connects your body, mind, and spirit in a single movement. And the way you breathe controls your entire vibrational state. The ancients knew that breath wasn't just about oxygen, it was about energy. They used specific patterns of breathing to alter their state of consciousness, to generate supernatural levels of energy, to pierce through the veil of ordinary perception. The way you breathe determines how much life force you allow into your system. Shallow, unconscious breathing keeps you locked in survival mode. But deep, intentional breathing activates something else entirely. It pulls in raw energy, charges every cell with life, and expands your vibration beyond the limits of the physical body. This is why ancient yogis could sit in deep meditation for days without food or water. It's why warriors used breathwork before battle. It's why deep breathing can instantly calm the mind, erase fear, and create an unshakable presence. Because when you breathe with full awareness, you are not just taking in air, you are pulling in the very essence of reality itself. And when you do this in combination with the right sounds, you create an energy field so strong that nothing lower vibrational can touch you. But the final technique is the one that changes everything. It is called the stillness of absolute presence. This is the one thing that every spiritual master, every enlightened being, every ancient mystic discovered. And it is the hardest one for most people to grasp, not because it is complicated, but because it is the simplest truth of all. The highest vibration is not found in movement, not in sound, not in breath, it is found in absolute stillness. When all thought ceases, when the mind becomes completely silent, when you exist in pure awareness with no resistance, no expectation, no effort, this is when your vibration reaches its peak. The universe itself is built on this principle. The most powerful forces are silent. The sun emits no sound, yet it powers all life. Gravity is invisible, yet it holds galaxies together. The deepest truths are not spoken, they are felt. And when you enter this state of pure presence, you become untouchable. Nothing external can shake you. No negativity can enter your field. No fear can survive, because in that stillness, you are no longer separate from the universe, you are the universe. This is why meditation is not just relaxation. It is not just stress relief. It is the key to reality itself. And the moment you master it, reality bends in ways you never imagined. Because when you can hold that stillness, even for a moment, you transcend all limitations. You enter the space where all creation begins. And from that space, anything becomes possible. The secret reason why these techniques work instantly is something most people will never realize, not because it's hidden, but because they are too distracted to see it. Everything in existence operates on vibration, and the moment you change your frequency, reality has no choice but to shift with you. This is not philosophy. This is physics. The reason ancient civilizations guarded these techniques so fiercely is because they knew that reality is not something you experience, it is something you generate. The world around you is not fixed. It is responding to you in real time, adjusting to the energy you emit. The vibration you hold is the blueprint for everything that happens in your life. Your thoughts, your emotions, your breath, your stillness, all of it is crafting the version of reality you are experiencing right now. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to change their external world while staying in the same internal frequency. They want abundance while vibrating in lack. They want love while vibrating in loneliness. They want power while vibrating in doubt. And that's why nothing changes. You cannot receive what you are not in vibrational alignment with. This is why the techniques work immediately, because they bypass the mind and go straight to the source of your energy. The moment you generate the sound of pure resonance, your frequency shifts. The moment you breathe with infinite expansion, your life force amplifies. The moment you enter absolute stillness, you become a direct channel for the highest energies in existence. There is no delay. There is no waiting. Reality bends in real time. But the reason 99% of people never access their full power is simple: they resist. They overthink. They doubt. They demand proof before they allow themselves to believe. And in doing so, they block their own transformation. The truth is, you are already vibrating at a certain frequency, whether you are conscious of it or not. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, Every unconscious belief you carry is emitting a signal. And that signal is shaping the reality around you. But instead of consciously directing their energy, most people let old patterns, fears, and conditioning dictate their vibration. They allow external circumstances to control their internal state, reacting to life instead of creating it. This is why their reality stays the same, why they feel stuck, why they struggle to manifest what they want. Because they are waiting for proof before they shift their energy, not realizing that the proof comes after the shift, never before. The ones who access their full power are the ones who understand that reality is a mirror. They don't chase outcomes, they don't force results, they don't wait for validation. They shift their vibration first, knowing that the external world will adjust accordingly. And it always does, without exception. And this is where everything changes when you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to achieve a higher vibration and start realizing that you are vibration itself. You are not separate from the energy you are trying to create. You are not disconnected from the reality you want to experience. You are the source. You are the signal. You are the frequency that determines everything. And the moment you fully understand this, your entire relationship with reality shifts. You stop chasing. You stop doubting. You stop waiting. You move as if what you desire is already done, because vibrationally it is. And the external world has no choice but to follow. This is why the ancients didn't just practice these techniques, they lived them. It wasn't something they did for a few minutes and then went back to their old patterns. It was who they were. And when it becomes who you are, reality stops being something you struggle with. It becomes something you command. How to permanently lock in your highest vibration so reality bends for you every single day is not about doing more. It's about being more. Most people treat vibration like a temporary state, something they tap into for a few minutes during meditation. Something they activate when they feel good, something they chase when they think they need a shift. But that's not how this works. If you want reality to move for you, if you want energy to align effortlessly, if you want to exist in a state where things happen for you rather than to you, then vibration cannot be something you visit, it has to be something you live. The ones who move through life with an energy so strong that everything bends around them are not the ones who occasionally meditate, occasionally breathe deeply, occasionally align. They are the ones who have made it their default state. They don't shift into high vibration when they need something, they stay there, no matter what is happening around them. They don't wait for external validation to feel powerful, they generate power from within. They don't let external circumstances dictate their internal state, they dictate their internal state first, knowing the external will follow. And when you reach this level, reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. But here's the secret: locking in your highest vibration isn't about constantly trying to maintain it. Trying implies effort, and effort implies struggle. The moment you feel like you need to force a high vibration, you've already dropped into a lower one. True vibrational mastery comes from letting go of everything that lowers your frequency, not from constantly chasing states of higher energy. This is what most people don't realize. It's not about doing more spiritual practices, adding more techniques, stacking more rituals. It's about removing everything that pulls you out of alignment. The overthinking, the self-doubt, the attachment to external outcomes, the need for control, the resistance to what is all of it creates noise in your frequency. And the more noise there is, the weaker your signal becomes. The ones who vibrate at the highest level are not the ones who do the most, they are the ones who carry the least. Their energy is clear, their mind is silent, their presence is undeniable. They don't react, they command. They don't chase, they attract. They don't force, they allow. And in doing so, they move through life with an effortless power that most people will never understand, not because it's impossible, but because they refuse to let go of everything keeping them stuck. And here's the final truth. Once you lock in your highest vibration, you never have to try to manifest anything again. Because at that level, you are the manifestation. The moment you desire something, it is already done. The moment you set an intention, reality starts shifting. The moment you decide something is yours, the universe begins rearranging itself to deliver it. Not because you are forcing it, not because you are hoping for it, but because your frequency is so aligned that reality has no choice. This is why the most powerful beings don't need to prove their power. They simply exist in a state where things happen effortlessly for them. And the ones watching from the outside don't understand why. They think it's luck. They think it's coincidence. They think it's something external when it has always been something internal. But now you know the truth. You don't need to get anything. You don't need to chase, beg, or struggle. You are the source. And once you fully accept that, reality will never be the same again. And now comes the part most people aren't ready for. The moment you fully step into this level of vibration, the world around you will start reacting differently. Some people will be drawn to you without knowing why, feeling something in your presence that they can't quite explain. Others will resist you, challenge you, even reject you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your energy is too clear, too strong, too undeniable for them to handle. When you reach this state, you no longer fit into the version of reality that most people are trapped in. You don't engage in the same conversations. You don't entertain the same fears. You don't get caught up in the same struggles. And this is where many people fall back. They feel the shift. They see how reality starts bending for them. But the moment they realize it separates them from the crowd, they hesitate. They start questioning whether they should dim their light, whether they should lower their vibration just to stay relatable, whether they should pretend they don't feel the power they've stepped into. But this is the test. Because most people don't fear failure, they fear standing out. They fear becoming so untouchable in their energy that they no longer fit into the world they once knew. But the truth is, the moment you lower your vibration to make others comfortable, you lose everything you've gained. You can't shrink back into limitation once you've seen reality at its highest level. You can't pretend you don't know the truth once you've felt what it's like to move through life with absolute clarity, absolute presence, absolute power. And this is where people face the ultimate decision. Do they fully step into who they are meant to be, or do they retreat back into the familiar? The ones who retreat will rationalize it. They will tell themselves that they're just being realistic, that they don't want to be too different, that they're just trying to stay grounded. But in reality, they are choosing comfort over expansion. They are choosing to stay in a vibration that no longer fits them just to maintain relationships, just to avoid judgment, just to keep living a life that no longer matches their energy. And the longer they resist their own power, the more they will feel the weight of that resistance. The ones who fully step in, though they change everything. They reach a state where nothing external can touch them, where doubt no longer exists, where they don't need approval, validation, or reassurance because their energy is the proof. They don't fear losing people because they know the right ones will stay. They don't chase anything because they know everything is already aligning. They don't hesitate because hesitation only exists when you don't fully trust your own vibration. And once you reach this level, you don't just manifest things, you command them into existence. Not through force, not through effort, but through the sheer power of your energy alone. And here's the part that will shock you: when you maintain this vibration long enough, reality itself begins to stretch. Time moves differently. Synchronicities become constant. Thoughts turn into reality so quickly that it almost feels unreal. And this is when you realize that the version of life most people are living is just a fraction of what's actually possible. They are moving through a slowed down, delayed version of reality because their vibration is inconsistent, filled with doubt, weighed down by resistance. But when your vibration is pure, reality speeds up. What used to take years happens in months. What used to feel impossible becomes effortless. You don't just attract, you become the gravitational force that reality bends around. And the only question that remains is this: are you ready to live at that level every single day? Or will you let the weight of the world pull you back into a version of yourself that no longer exists? Because once you reach this point, there is no going back. You either rise completely or you fall back into a reality that will never feel right again. And this is where most people break. Not because they aren't capable of holding the highest vibration, not because they don't want to experience reality bending for them every single day, but because they don't realize what happens when they stay in that energy long enough. The moment you hold your vibration at its highest level without slipping back, everything that is not aligned with that frequency will begin to fall apart. People will leave. Situations will collapse. Old versions of your life will disintegrate. Not because something is going wrong, but because the energy that once held those things together no longer exists. And this is where most people panic. They mistake the breakdown for failure, the chaos for a sign that they should go back. They don't understand that when you step into your highest power, anything that doesn't match it has to dissolve. The reality you once knew cannot sustain itself in the presence of your new frequency. And this is why so many people fall back. They can't handle the destruction that comes before the rebirth. They don't see that the relationship's ending, the situation's shifting, the sudden changes happening all around them are not punishments, they are proof that the energy is working. But instead of holding their frequency and letting the new reality form, they cling to the old, trying to save what is already gone, trying to force what no longer fits. And in doing so, they lower their vibration again, stepping back into the version of themselves that they were meant to leave behind. But the ones who hold their energy, no matter what happens, the ones who refuse to collapse back into old patterns, who don't chase what's falling away, who don't question the shifts unfolding around them, those are the ones who reach the next level. They understand that when things fall apart, it's because something greater is being built. They know that what looks like loss is actually alignment. They trust the energy more than they trust the illusion of stability. And because of that, reality doesn't just bend for them, it completely restructures itself around their new vibration. The opportunities that match their highest frequency start appearing out of nowhere. The people who resonate with their true energy enter their lives effortlessly. The things they used to struggle for now come to them without effort, not because they are lucky, not because they are special, but because they held the frequency long enough for reality to catch up. And this is what separates those who truly ascend from those who only experience glimpses of it. And here's the final truth: once you reach this point, everything becomes effortless. You don't need to constantly work on your vibration because it is your natural state. You don't need to manifest anything because you are the manifestation. You don't need to chase, force, or hope because everything is already aligning in real time. And the reason this feels so foreign to most people is because they have spent their entire lives believing that struggle is necessary, that effort equals results, that things take time. But time is only a factor in lower vibrations. The higher your frequency, the less time exists. What used to take years now happens instantly. What used to feel impossible now feels obvious. And when you live in this state, nothing can shake you. No fear, no doubt, no external chaos can pull you back because you know how reality works. You know that energy moves first, physical reality follows. You know that nothing is ever happening to you, it's all happening for you, in perfect alignment with the frequency you hold. And this is the ultimate realization, that you were never waiting for reality to change. Reality was always waiting for you to rise into the version of yourself that was capable of holding this power. And now that you've reached this point, there is no going back. And this is where everything shifts, not gradually, not over time, but instantly the moment you stop entertaining anything that lowers your vibration. The second you refuse to engage in doubt, refuse to justify your power, refuse to explain your energy to people who were never meant to understand it, reality moves differently. The things you used to struggle for now chase you. The people who once overlooked you now feel your absence like a void they can't fill. The opportunities that seemed impossible before now appear so effortlessly that you almost laugh at how easy it is. But this is not magic. This is not coincidence. This is simply what happens when you hold your frequency without breaking, without questioning, without slipping back into the old version of yourself that once begged for things that are now beneath you. And the only thing that determines whether you stay in this energy or fall back is one decision: do you trust the power you've stepped into, or do you flinch when the old world tries to pull you back? Because it will try. The moment you rise, everything that once thrived on your lower vibration will test you. People who benefited from your doubt will try to make you question yourself. Situations that fed off your insecurity will try to pull you into old cycles. The past will knock, not because it has power over you, but because it wants to see if you'll let it in. And this is the part where most people fall. Not because they aren't strong enough, not because they don't know better, but because they mistake familiarity for alignment. They confuse comfort with truth. They assume that just because something feels known, it must be right. But the truth is, the old world only feels comfortable because you spent so long living in it. And if you let it pull you back, you will realize too late that it no longer fits. But the ones who don't break, the ones who refuse to lower their frequency just to fit into places they've outgrown, those are the ones who step into something that most people will never experience. A life where effort is replaced by certainty. A reality where things don't just work out, they align so perfectly that every step feels divinely orchestrated. A state where you no longer question, hesitate, or doubt, because you know that the energy is always working in your favor. And when you reach this level, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. You don't wait for signs, you are the sign. You don't seek validation, you radiate certainty. You don't hope things work out, you decide they will, and they do, every single time. Because at this point, you're no longer playing by the rules that most people live by. You've stepped into something higher, something more powerful, something unshakable, and the only thing left to do is own it fully, without apology, without hesitation, without ever looking back. And this is where reality bends in ways that others won't believe. Time stretches and collapses around you, making things happen in days that should have taken years. People feel your presence before you even speak, drawn to something they can't explain. Situations that seemed impossible rearrange themselves effortlessly in your favor. And when others see this, they won't understand. They'll call it luck. They'll try to explain it logically. They'll search for some hidden reason why everything works for you while they struggle. But they won't find one. Because the truth is something most people will never accept. There is no secret. There is no trick. There is only frequency. And the ones who master it, the ones who refuse to lower it no matter what happens, those are the ones who live in a reality that most will never touch. And now that you've felt it, now that you've seen what happens when you hold this energy without breaking, there's only one thing left to decide. Will you stay here? Will you keep rising? Or will you let the weight of the old world pull you back into a version of yourself that no longer exists? Because the truth is, you were never waiting for anything. The power was always yours. The only difference now is that you know. And this is where most people hesitate, not because they don't want the life that comes with this level of energy, but because stepping into it fully means letting go of everything that no longer aligns. The habits, the distractions, the people who thrive on the version of you that second guesses, overthinks, and plays small. The ones who reach this level don't just shift internally, they watch entire parts of their old reality dissolve in front of them. And this is where the real test happens. Do you cling to what feels familiar, even though it no longer fits, or do you let it all fall away and trust that what comes next is beyond anything you've ever known? Most people can't do it. They grip the past with both hands, terrified of what will happen if they let go. And in doing so, they slow everything down. They send mixed signals to the energy, saying they want to rise while anchoring themselves in the very frequency they claim to be done with. But the ones who don't hesitate, the ones who release everything without fear, those are the ones who transcend in ways that others can't even fathom. Because the moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop trying to drag the old world into the new, the speed at which reality shifts is indescribable. And this is what people don't realize. The struggle isn't in the rising, it's in the resistance. The energy is always ready to take you higher, always pushing you toward the next level, always aligning things in your favor. But every doubt slows it down. Every hesitation creates friction. Every attachment to the past keeps you tethered to a version of life that is already gone. And if you hold on too long, you will find yourself stuck in a limbo where nothing feels right. The old reality no longer works, but the new one can't fully form because you won't let go. And this is where most people sabotage themselves. They mistake this phase for failure, not realizing that the only thing holding them back is their own unwillingness to surrender completely. The moment they do, the moment they finally release everything and let the energy move without interference, the shift is instant. The path clears. The momentum accelerates. The things they've been waiting for appear so fast, it's almost overwhelming. And suddenly they realize it was never about waiting. It was always about allowing. And this is why the ones who reach this level move differently. They don't force. They don't chase. They don't doubt. They operate with a level of certainty that others can't understand, not because they're guessing, but because they know. They know that the energy is precise. They know that nothing is ever lost, only replaced with something greater. They know that the faster they release, the faster they rise. And because of that, they move through life with an effortless power that most will never experience. Not because it's impossible, but because most people will never let go long enough to feel what it's like to be fully carried by the energy that has been trying to lift them all along. But now you know the truth. You've seen what happens when you hold your frequency without breaking, without questioning, without slipping back. And now there is no going back. The only thing that remains is the decision to keep rising, or to let fear pull you into a version of life that will never fit again. Because the truth is, the moment you felt this shift, the old version of you ceased to exist. The only question now is whether you will keep moving forward or pretend you don't already know that everything is changed.